Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sarah. I'm originally from the UK, but I grew up in Canada. I became Muslim at the end of August. It's been about a year and a half now, and my journey started actually after moving to Bahrain. I moved here in August of 21, and almost immediately my class, I'm a teacher, my class was trying to teach me about Islam. And there were a few boys in my class who were like, "Miss, please, just read the Quran. Just look, just research, just read about it, and you'll like it." And then some of the girls in my class, they would tell me, "Miss, you're too good. You can't go to the fire. We need you to go to Jannah. So please, please, please." I said, "Okay." So at the end of that year, in June, I told one of the boys, Ibrahim, I told him, "Come talk to me in August." He said, "Would you just promise me one thing? Promise me that you'll research." I said, "Okay." And then he came back to school the next year, and I was able to tell him, "Ibrahim," I said in Arabic, I became Muslim. And his jaw dropped and he said, "Say Wallah." And I said, "Wallah," and he got so happy. His mouth almost dropped to the floor. So yeah, it was really amazing experience, and it felt so welcoming, which I know is something that a lot of people don't have when they join Islam. It's not always the most welcoming thing if you don't live in a Muslim country. But being in Bahrain has made it very easy, so that's been amazing. And yeah, that's kind of my story. I became Muslim because my students practically begged me to read the Quran, and when I read and researched, it just makes sense. So I guess growing up, I spent my early years of childhood in the UK, and I went to a Church of England school, so an Anglican school. So I was born Christian, raised Christian, but my family didn't really practice. And I remember as a child, I always had an interest in religion, but then it just didn't really make sense to me. So then when I didn't know anything about Islam before I moved to Canada. I just knew that they were Muslims, and they were mostly from the Middle East, and that was all. Where I'm from, there's no diversity really. Now there is, but not when I was younger. So moving here, finding out, just honestly seeing the way people were acting into the society, seeing how welcoming they are, the charity that people give, seeing my boys in my class so excited to go and pray at prayer time, how dedicated they were to Islam. It made me feel like if they are so dedicated, there has to be something that's true. So then it just made sense. And so really Islam just made that much more clear for me. It makes sense. One thing that I think was really important to me was the importance of family in Bahrain, and how on Fridays families, you go to the masjid and then everybody goes to their grandma's house and they all meet, which is not something that I had growing up because I was an immigrant. I didn't have my family. So that was something. And then also the adhan, just hearing it everywhere, seeing people go to pray, seeing people pull over on the side of the road. It really just encouraged me, and still does encourage me to learn more and to be better every day. For my mom, we're pretty close, and I had kind of been telling her things for a long time because I thought about becoming Muslim for probably 7 months before I really did it. And so she kind of had an idea that it was going to happen, and she was open to it. They're not practicing, so they weren't opposed in a religious matter. But it was a bit still like of a shock. My parents are actually pig farmers, so it's kind of ironic, and they are also butchers. So they have a pork processing facility. So I think like that was something my family was worried about. Like, what are we gonna tell people? Like, our daughter doesn't eat our own meat. So like that was something that they were shocked by. But alhamdulillah, my mom and my dad, they were both really supportive. They'll support me in anything that I do. So they have been amazing supports and really defended me throughout this. My grandparents also, they have been very open and loving and caring and supportive of me. My brother, however, not the same story. My brother and I, we no longer talk. But alhamdulillah, I think it's for the best at the moment, and one day inshallah he will become open and have a relationship with me again. He's younger than me, a lot younger than me. So he's 19 or 20, he's still like figuring out his own life, and my hope is that inshallah when he grows up he will realize that it doesn't need to be something to ruin our relationship. So yeah, alhamdulillah. Like I said, I didn't know anything about Islam. I didn't even know that Muslims prayed 5 times a day. I didn't know that what Mecca was. I didn't know anything about Islam, and that was my own ignorance. I mean, I could have looked it up, but I didn't know anything. And so I think a lot of people, they don't know, and I think a lot of people are actually just curious, and the way they sometimes ask questions comes across like they're being rude, but I think really they're curious, they're trying to find out. But I honestly don't have the desire to go back to Canada. I wore hijab in Canada for the first time this summer. Oh, I remember a funny misconception. My mom, okay, this summer, her and I, last summer, we planned to travel in Canada. And she was like, okay, let's go to Kelowna. I was like, okay. And she's like, yeah, we can go to a winery. I was like, Mom, but I don't drink. She said, yeah, but you can drive me. I said, Mom, I'm not going to go there with my hijab. And she just looked at me and she said, well, you're not going to wear your hijab in Canada, are you? And I said, yes. Why would I take it off? And she was like, oh, I thought you just wore that because you're there. Like, that was something that I thought was funny. And I was like, no, Mom. And then she was like, oh, okay, let's not go to Kelowna. The biggest thing that has changed since I became a Muslim is that my anxiety is way less. I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder in Canada, and it was quite bad to the point where there were days where I couldn't leave my house. Since becoming Muslim, I have never had a day like this. I feel so inspired by my friends. If I'll call them, I'll tell them something, they just say, Allah Kareem, like, God is generous, He'll give you what you need, so stop worrying. And so I just say this to myself whenever I'm feeling anxious, and it really, really has helped, to the point where somebody actually asked me the other day, how can you, they're not Muslim, she said to me, how are you just so carefree? How can you just, like, what is it? And I said, I know that God has a plan for me. And she was like, really? And she's like, I wish I could just put my trust in God in that way. And I was like, just do it. Just do it. Just trust that He's gonna have a plan for you. But I think that's the biggest thing that has been amazing for me. Also, it's actually not part of the religion so much, but it's brought me some very incredible friendships that I probably never would have had the opportunity to have before. It has brought me like much closer with my students and with people that I work with, and yeah, it's been amazing. It's changed my life like 100%. People that knew me before, they will be shocked if they if they could see me now. Yeah. I found out about Discover Islam from my friend that I used to work with. She was the Arabic teacher for my class, and I told her, I want to become Muslim, like I'm ready to take the Shahada. And so we actually came to Al-Fatih Masjid, and they told us, no, don't come here. They told us, go to Discover Islam. And we said, okay, and they said, they have programs for you, they have classes. If you come here, you just take the Shahada and go, but to go there, you have actual classes. So I went to Discover Islam. They asked me, okay, do you want to do today? I said, yes. And they were like, do you want, we have to do a class before. And I said, I think I don't need to do the class. I've been researching for so long. And they were like, are you sure? And I said, yes, I'm like, I know this is the right decision for me. And they're like, well, normally we do like a hour or 2 hour brief on Islam before you do it, so you know it's the right decision. I said, no, I know this is the right decision. And so I did it. After I took the Shahada, they phoned me a few days later. They connected me with my teacher, which was Yusra, and she taught me, we went through the book together of becoming a Muslim. And I did classes with her for quite a while. It took us a while to finish the book, and then we finished it. And in that time, also I got the Shahada certificate. So I actually went for Umrah, and they didn't actually ask me for it, but they definitely could have. And so it was really nice to like be able to have that experience and to have the piece of paper that does say, now I am a Muslim, which is nice. Yeah, and I would say for anybody like wondering about Islam, or like even having a little bit of urge, being afraid. I know so many people who I can tell they want to become Muslim, but they're afraid of what people are going to say, what their families are going to say. Just do what's best for you. Research, look into Islam. There are so many things you can watch on YouTube. In Bahrain, you have Discover Islam. Just do the research and find what is right for you. That would be my advice. And don't care about what other people think. At the end of the day, it's going to be you and God, not you and everyone around you. So.